Hey, yo, you are now locked in with the BOOKEM Show. Building bridges, baby.
What's going on, everybody? It's BOOKEM here of the BOOKEM Show and the Bridges Project. And I have a very, very special guest here today with me. New York City firefighter, also owner and founder of Renewal Solutions, Inc., a contracting company based out of New Jersey. My good brother, Tommy Coogan. What's up, Tommy?
What's going on, brother? Thanks for having me, man.
Yo, man, it's a pleasure, bro. It's a pleasure. I just want everybody to know a little bit about Tommy before he gets into it. I met Tommy because, I'm a new homeowner, and he came and did some work for me. He did an estimate. And once we met, him being a first responder, obviously I'm a first responder, it just clicked. And not only that, the fact he was so humble, so informative, so helpful, it was just a great match, man. And what I was looking for in a contractor, just a great all-around dude. You guys are going to hear about it. Right now, we're going to get into Tommy's life, his past, his current, his life as a firefighter, his life as a owner, operator of a very successful construction, contracting business, home improvement, whatever you want to call it. He wears a lot of hats. He's also a father, husband, just a great all-around individual. So, Tommy, now that I'm done giving you your flowers at the beginning of the show, you deserve them all. You really deserve them all, man. It's been a pleasure and an honor getting to know you, my brother. So I want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Guys, it's an honor to be on the show today. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and great childhood growing up. Had a little rough goes here and there, but for the most part, I grew up loving sports, hated school, anything to just stay active and, not be home. I pretty much did. And, life was good, but I got into, high school, found, the wrong people, and just went down a little downward spiral from there, All
right. Explain when you say downward spiral. Get into that downward spiral a little bit. What do you mean by that? We
became very heavy in drinking, smoking pot. Then cocaine came into play in my around 18, 19. And that was it after that. Once that stepped in, the nightlife just took over.
Nightlife. Does that include clubbing or just hanging out with the friends? Like, were you in the streets? What do you mean by that?
I was, my mother was in the restaurant business for many, many years, pretty much her whole life. She got me into the restaurant business, and I started bartending at 18. I was working in the restaurant when I was 16, started bartending at 18. So drinking and drugs were just part of that pretty much daily routine.
Would you say you were kind of like a victim of your surroundings?
I was playing the victim. I don't think I was the victim because we all have our own freedom of choice, right? Mm-hmm. So at the time, I called myself a victim. I played the role of a victim, but was I a victim? No.
So you chose to get into drinking at a young age. You said 18, 19. Why did you start drinking, brother? Was it something that you were going through personally, depression? Was it something you did just because you saw people around you doing it? What was the underlying cause for you to start drinking?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I just started drinking because everybody else was doing it. You're going to parties. Everybody was drinking. If you drank, you got the girls. If I had to be the guy who did everything to excess. So the guy who drank the most, the guy who was the craziest, the guy who did the most drugs, the guy who did all that, everything had to be at the highest level,
Crazy. And it's ironic you're saying that because now your contracting business is at a relatively high level. You're the owner of Renewal Solutions, Inc., and after, you went through your childhood, you went through your trials and tribulations, which I want you to touch on. You're now the owner of a very successful business, and you're a New York City firefighter, which is insane, and it's obviously a very reputable position in first response. You know what I'm saying? I want you to get into that, man. I mean, you know, you legitimately rose from the ashes. I know personally, because I've gotten to know you. We've become very good friends. But I want you to tell the people, I think it'll be inspirational, to say the least, of the ashes that you rose through. I want you to get into that.
I was in a relationship for about 5 years with an older woman. And that's where my pill addiction, opioid addiction, really took off. I was in the restaurant business. I was all over the place. And I was in a car accident, right? So I started getting prescribed opiates, and that's what took me out. That's what completely took me out, and I couldn't stop. There was no shutting it off. If I didn't use, I was completely crippled in pain, going through withdrawals every single day. I literally had to do anything and everything just to get that next fix, just to make sure I could show up like a normal person.
You couldn't go through, you couldn't go a single day without using? I mean, 7 days a week you were using?
Every single day. If I went more than a couple hours without using, I'd be in excruciating pain. My whole body would feel like it was like, I felt like I was dying. That's the best, analogy I could use. Complete vomiting, diarrhea, throat. It was just, I couldn't move, like paralysis. It's horrible.
Were you a functioning drug addict? I mean, were you working and
So I was still able to keep a job, right? I was still able to work. I was still able to actually reach goals that I had for myself, even through the addiction, right? But I was able to continuously use. If I didn't use, I wouldn't be functionable. So I had to use to function due to the addiction that I had already. I had once you get the physical addiction, that's it. Mental addiction mixed with physical, it's very, very difficult to overcome.
Wow. I think you are a true testimony of God's power and grace and redemption in someone's life. I just want people to see the power, man, and like what he came through and where he's at now. So going back to you being addicted to the opioids, you were at rock bottom, correct? I mean, tell us a little bit about what you did. I mean, were you rich growing up? Did your family have money? How did you get all the money to support this habit?
I was not rich by any means. I grew up right above poor, whatever that may be. That's where I was, mother and father on food stamps. We had government assistance. We had all that, My father never was able to keep a job. My mother always had the steady income coming in because she was very good at what she did.
Nice.
Heavy drinker, but that's how she coped a lot, you know. My father, he had his issues with crack cocaine.
Okay.
So, I grew up seeing a lot of that, Did it suck? Yeah. But it was something that I told myself I would never do, but then I kind of jumped into that. That was one of the drugs I never touched because he touched it, was crack. Did I get into cocaine? Yeah, I sure did. But that's not something I'm proud of.
Wow. And, bro, it's sick. It's sick how young you started doing drugs. How people around you, important people, people that are supposed to be your foundation. Shout to your parents. I spoke to your father on the phone. I met your mother. Good people. You know what I'm saying? Make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. My father, my biological, people make mistakes. They have trauma that we may not even know they went through, right?
Like I know that they did the best they can with what they know, and they truly did. They gave it their all. They did exactly what they had to do with what they knew what to do.
That's a good way of putting it, bro. That's so sick you say that because I come to learn that many years later, brother. With my real father, with my biological father, I used to resent him, bro. I used to be like, oh, you were never around. And then one day God spoke to me and told me, how do you expect someone to give you the love that they never received? They don't understand how to love.
You're right.
So it's like I'm being hard on somebody that was never loved. So in other words, what God was telling me through that message was like, you have to shower him with the love that you want reciprocated. And I still don't do it to this day. I'm going to be honest. I'm not here to lie to you. I really don't. I need to work on that. You decided, I guess, I don't know what happened in your life. What made you just turn around, turn your life to God, and just decide, you know what? I'm not going to do this no more. How do you just overcome that addiction and those trials and come to where you are?
So with being in, active use and drinking heavily also comes with a lot of arrests, jail time that I've had. I was in college, upstate New York. I did about 5 nights in Orange County Prison, which was terrible. In and out of Central Booking in downtown Brooklyn. So those times I was like, I can't allow my life to be this forever, to just be another statistic. So the woman that I was with for 5 years, I just ended it. I seen it wasn't going anywhere. Even through my addiction, it held me with her because I felt like I needed her, but that ended. I went to go live with my parents again, which was another pretty bad place to be, if I wanted to be sober. So I got a place by myself, my first apartment ever by myself. I had a roommate, an older guy. His name was Manny, awesome dude.
Was he Spanish?
Yes, he was.
Boricua?
Boricua, I think. He looked Boricua, so we'll call him Boricua. But, I was, going to work. At the time, I was working at a pest control company. I was doing sales. I had taken the fire department exam. And I was waiting to get called like everybody else. It was like 5 years since I'd taken it. I was like, I'm probably not going to get called. Yeah. So I was just operating, working, and I was out one night. I was having a few drinks, and I met this woman. Her name was Paulette at the bar. Okay. And that turned out, to be my wife today.
Wow. How many years later?
5 years, 5.5 years.
Nice.
Today. Yeah.
So tell us, I know Paulette, she's half Puerto Rican, half Italian, right?
Oh, yeah.
Strong woman. She's tough. She's tough.
She is.
And that's good. That's good a lot of times. We need tough women to be, our backbone. You know what I mean? They're going to hold us accountable a lot of times for our actions. You know what I'm saying? So now 5 years ago, you meet Paulette. It's insane, bro. I can't even believe that this was just 5 years ago because I know you now. I don't know you as the old Tom. So it's like unbelievable for me to even fathom that you were living the life you were living before and God redeemed you in such a fast period, so fast, and that you're at where you're at now. So tell us what changed. Well, what was the switch? You met Paulette. What happened?
So I met Paulette, and we started dating, right? She was coming over to my house. We would, sit down, have really good conversations. And one day, I'm in active use still, but I'm keeping it, unnoticeable. She didn't even know. Yeah. And she asked me this question. She said, "Do you believe in God?" I said, "Of course I believe in God." Who doesn't believe in God? This is my thinking at the time. Yeah. And she goes, "Oh, okay. Are you a Christian or a Catholic?" Wow. And I said, "Oh, I'm a Catholic." She goes, "Oh, well, I'm a Christian." I said, "Oh, that's great. I didn't know the difference." I didn't know the difference between a Catholic and a Christian. I thought they were the same thing. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Why don't you come to my church, which I went to maybe once a year, if I was lucky. And I told her, and I'll come to yours. And she goes, okay. So she came to my church. I said, "Oh, how'd you like it?" She goes, "Yeah, it was all right." She goes, "Now next week, you coming to my church." So I went into her church. It was a different looking building, not as beautiful as, the Catholic churches are. Yeah. So I walk in, and I felt the presence of God for the first time in my life. Wow. I look in, people are saying hello to me. I'm like, this is strange. People are actually coming up to me saying, "Hello, how you doing?" Yeah. And I heard them. I see a rock band on the stage, and I'm like, wow, this music is amazing. Then the pastor or a bishop gets up to preach, and the message was just resonated to my heart.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, I continued to go, and, I gave my life to God, to Christ.
So now let's talk about what happens next. You get saved, you give your life to God. What's the next thing?
For the next 2 years of my Christian walk, I'm still in active use. But I know that there's a problem, right? I get onto the fire department. I make it. Me and my wife, me and Paulette were dating at the time. She got pregnant. We got married. And after we got married, my addiction started showing more and more, right? The fire department found out. My wife found out. And I went to rehab for the first time. I stayed sober for a little bit and came back out, started using again. Went to rehab again. Came back out. First day out of rehab, I used right away. Wow. The obsession was so strong.
Was it the feeling or was it just the chase?
It was both.
Wow.
I was just the mental obsession at the time. And the physical obsession went away while I was in rehab. I detoxed. But after I came out, I didn't stick to, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, which I was in at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't do the things that the counselors and everybody else recommended. And my relationship with God wasn't where it should have been. I didn't keep him first.
Wow, that's great. Throughout this period of time, were you praying?
I had a lot of foxhole prayers. At the times when I was down and out, I was praying heavy. But the difference was the people that were praying for me that I didn't even know. I had family members. I had my wife. I had men in the church. A man named Brian and Cliff, Chad, Rob Lopez. These guys surrounded me, and they were praying heavy over me. And they actually just, it's amazing what God could do through other people.
Absolutely, bro. And I agree, man. I agree because, I met you. My house got flooded. Got flooded September 2nd. So September 2nd, we're looking to re-renovate our home, the bottom level. And I'm just having bad luck with contractors or people off the street. I just can't find somebody that's reliable. So I'm frustrated. Me and my wife are frustrated. We want this house to be livable, The steps collapsed, everything. So we're like, what the hell am I going to do? So I just randomly one day just Googled, reliable contractors near me. And it brings me to Thumbtack and Angie's List. So I download Angie's List. I put up, the way it works is you put up, what type of services you're looking for, what type of home improvement needs you have. I put them in, and like an hour later, I get a call from Tom. This Tom, sitting next to me. So Tom's very pleasant on the phone. He goes, "Hey, what's up, man? This is Tom from Renewal Solutions. I'm just returning your call. I see that you need a basement finished or whatever. I'm in this area. Can you come out to this certain area?" And he goes, "Oh man, matter of fact, I'm like 3 minutes away. I'm like 4 blocks away from you." I go, "Whoa, that's crazy. How sick is that?" So I go, "All right, come right now." He goes, "All right, I'm on my way." Comes down. I see the fire, the logo to his, his pickup truck on his shirt. I'm like, is this guy a firefighter? Or, what's going on? He comes up, very pleasant, very humble. We clicked right away. The vibe was great. The energy was great in regards to, him just being pleasant to talk to and knowledgeable about what he was doing and what I needed to do. He met my budget and started working with him. And then from there, we just became really good friends. And I met his family. He met my family. So it's just like, and also I just want to say he's poured into my life tremendously. I mean, you said it. It's unbelievable what God will do and how God puts people into place to put you at another level. And I'm a firm believer in that God placed, Tom in my life for moments and to create more moments. You know what I mean? So it's just been a blessing, man. I've been growing. I've been learning from him. He's younger than me. I'm better looking, but it doesn't matter. Some people might disagree. It is what it is. But that's my brother. He's a great dude. And I just, I'm just want him to know I'm grateful for you, bro.
Thank you, brother.
I'm grateful
Same
for
here, man.
everything you've done, man. And everything you do for people. And your family as well, man. I'm very grateful for all you guys, bro. So yeah, that's the way I met Tom. And then Tom's story goes even further, So after that, after everything, you met your wife, you get saved, you're in church, you get freed of some strongholds, we call them in Christianity.
Yeah.
Tell us what happens next.
So after the second rehab, I just stayed using for a while. Right, the opioids turned into heroin, which is another opioid, and that went on for at least 6 months, and it was bad. It was bad. My wife left me. She took Thomas and Aaliyah.
How did she find out?
She knew. She knew. I would be passed out on the toilet bowl. I'd be nodding off. I wouldn't be. She caught me a couple of times.
Yeah.
So she left, took the kids, and I had no idea what to do. I knew I needed to go for help, but I decided to continue to keep using. And she filed for custody, and she filed for divorce a couple days later.
Wow.
Very, very quick. So I was like, you know what? You're going to file for custody of my kids? So I went for custody of my children, saying I'm the only one that works. I'm a New York City firefighter. So what does my wife do? She calls up my lieutenant at the fire department and tells him, yeah, my husband is on drugs and all this stuff. And it was a blessing in disguise.
I'm sorry. I don't blame her. Because, dude, I'm being honest. I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest. I don't blame her because she was looking out for the well-being of the kids. She wasn't even thinking about herself because she was like, he's the breadwinner. She's like, listen, my kids come first. Yeah. He's actively using, So in a way, I don't blame her,
I actually told her that I commend her for that. And I am so thankful that she was strong enough to be able to do that. Because if she didn't, I'd probably still be using right now, or I'd probably be dead.
Wow. So elaborate. What happens next? She calls, she speaks to your lieutenant.
She calls, speaks to my lieutenant, and they told me I had to go down for a drug test. And I said, absolutely not. I called up the counseling service unit, and they sent me away to rehab. So I was able to get the treatment I needed. I came back. I had no place to live. My wife she had the kids.
How long were you at rehab?
I was at rehab for 30 days.
Okay. Short rehab.
It's a 30-day rehab. The apartment I lived in, I was behind on rent. They took all the furniture, threw it outside, and I came back to having no place to live, like zero place. So I had to find the place while I was in rehab. And I ended up calling this guy named Doug Ryan. And he's my sponsor today. He took me into his house with his wife and his son.
Wow.
And I'm so thankful to God for this, man. He showed me a new way to live. He was 10, 12 years sober at the time. And what he does is he helps people overcome addiction, alcoholism, everything, because he went through it. And his motto is, if I don't give it away, I can't keep it. So I am so thankful for this man. He is mightily used by God, and I love him to death.
How did you meet him for him to become your sponsor?
So there was this kid named Mike that was in the program as well. And a guy from my church, it was his nephew. And Doug was Mike's sponsor. So Mike hooked me up with him, and we started going to a few meetings, but at the time I was still using. So, it really I never stuck, but I knew he was there, and I knew the message he delivered was something that attracted me.
Yeah.
But the kid Mike ended up overdosing and dying.
Oh.
Yeah, he ended up overdosing and dying, and nobody even knew he was using. It was the craziest thing.
Wow. Some people know how to hide it, man.
Yeah, they do.
It's crazy, man. So, so now Doug, you're living with Doug. Shouts to Doug, man. I met Doug. Shouts to Doug. Shout to his wife, Irene.
Yes.
Shout to them. Shout for him being, having such a tremendous heart and soul taking you in, brother. You know what I mean? How long did you live with them?
So I lived with Doug for exactly 7 months.
Wow, 7 months. And during those 7 months, what were you doing?
During those 7 months, I was constantly in meetings. I was in an outpatient program with the fire department Monday through Friday, working with counselors, working on myself. And Doug also ran his own meetings in his house twice a week. And me and Doug worked one-on-one, and we went through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous together. And it radically changed my whole thinking, my whole mindset. And all the resentments that I had over people completely disappeared when I put myself in the situation. Like, I knew that I was allowing these people to affect me. Anything outside of me, I have full control of only me. I can't control you. I can't control my wife. I can't control my kids. I can only control myself. That's it. Once I figured that out, it was a game changer for me.
I've never seen you upset, really. I'm being serious. I mean, I talk to you every day. I see you almost every day. And sometimes stuff hits the fan in contracted. Things happen, and you laugh about it. I commend that. I think that's amazing, bro. I think that's a great outlook to have on life, and a great way to combat the negative things that come your way, is to just be like, hey, you know what? I control how I feel, and I'm just going to feel good about and not make a big deal about anything, because it's only going to give me anxiety and depression, right? I mean, I'm assuming that's what you're thinking, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I get to control how I show up, right? I can't allow the outside stuff that happens in my life to affect the man I am and the man who I show up to be every day.
Yes.
So that really, is what keeps me on that mindset and that wavelength,
Bro, I'm in first response 16 years. You got 5 years in the fire department. How the I never curse on the show, but how did you survive this whole time in the fire department without anybody noticing, without you getting caught, outside of God having grace over your life? How did you make it through it, and how did you work under these conditions?
It was extremely, extremely exhausting, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was torture. It was, it sucked, it was extremely hard. I don't know how I did it. I can only tell you that it's through the grace of God that I was able to get through it, and that everybody was able to be safe, and nobody got hurt due to my drug addiction.
Thank God, bro.
And, I'm just thankful for the guys in my firehouse. They stuck by me. They rallied under me. And even the guys that didn't stick by me, I appreciate sometimes even more, right? Because they helped me want to show them that I could be better. That's not the man I am.
I know that feeling.
That I had something to prove, not just to myself, but to other people. Yeah. That's not me.
That you knew you were an asset to your unit or to your guys. Yeah, absolutely. Bro, I feel the same way. I went through a lot of things in my department at one time, having no structure, being a first generation law enforcement officer for my family, not knowing the culture of law enforcement. I made a lot of mistakes, but I always knew, like, bro, I'm a good cop. I'm a good person. I know my job. I'm squared away. It's okay to be confident in yourself and know what you're worth, right? It's good to know what you're worth, because I'm reading a book by John Maxwell that you gave me called Intentional Living. And in that book, it says, you have to know your worth. It's not cockiness, but you have to know your worth, and you have to be able to use that worth to pour value into others.
Yes.
You have to value yourself before you can pour value into others, right? One of my biggest things that I used to do was I used to make fun of myself to people. So I'm going to give you an example. Somebody would say, yeah, just give you an example in regards to law enforcement. Hey, Rivera, try out for SWAT. And I would make a comment like, they don't want a guy like, I would just joke around, like, but put myself down.
Yeah.
And then I stopped doing that. I said, I got to stop doing that because I value myself. And I got to stop speaking things into existence. So once I started valuing myself and really knowing where I stand and who I am, God just has been using me to bless other people. And that's what he's been using you for. Somebody told you that your company is actually a ministry. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was a very eye-opening, They're like, God is using your company as a ministry to pour into people, to help people. And I didn't realize it until I took a few steps back and I looked at that whole picture and I'm like, wow. I was doing work for a pastor and he had a buddy that was going through addiction and I was able to help him and bring him to rehab.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And you went out of your way to do that.
Yeah. God put me in your life. He put you in my life.
100% put you in my life. 100%.
Listen, you've been a complete extreme asset to my life as an amazing
you, bro.
friend.
I appreciate you. Man.
Your family's like family to me, my
Absolutely.
wife and children.
Vice versa.
It's just an amazing thing, man.
It's amazing, bro. I read somewhere that God will put people into your life that are meant to fulfill your purpose, and you're definitely fulfilling my purpose. Your friendship, bro, is amazing, man. You're solid. In life, I've lost a lot of friends. We just don't align. Our spirits, our goals, our aspirations just don't align. And then God starts putting people in your life. I feel like as you grow, you get new friends and new people that just help you grow. And then they're blessings. So Tom is amazing, man. Listen, Tom does construction, but Tom goes above and beyond for people. I'm not gassing anybody. I'm not blowing smoke up him because he's here. He has such a tremendous heart. Does that heart come from the trials and tribulations that you went through? Do you feel like you owe it to people to just...
Well, yeah, that's a good question. The heart that I have, right, has a lot to do with how I like to be treated.
Yes.
And how I looked at leadership when I was in the workforce and how these people did not have it down. How they treated how I was treated, how other people was treated. I knew that if I was treated a certain way, that I would want to be in that environment. I would want to work for those people.
Yes.
So I try to deliver exactly, how I would want to be treated every single day. No matter how I feel, no matter what I'm going through, it has nothing to do with the guys who work for me. So that's how I try to show up, man.
I see your leadership skills and great. You create a great work environment. I think everybody loves to work for you. How many trucks, do you have on the road right now?
Right now we got 3 trucks.
Nice.
Yeah, we got 3 trucks. We got 9 employees. So
nice,
things
man.
are growing, man. Things are looking up.
What? You told me a story. It's crazy, people. It's crazy. Tom was struggling. You started doing power wash, right? Yeah. Door-to-door power wash. You started doing door-to-door power wash. Something happened where you screwed up a job or something, right? You made a mistake. You decided to get into construction. You started working with Carlos.
Yeah. So
Tell us about that.
When I was living with Doug, me and my wife got back together, right? all the hard work that I put in, all the prayers, everything that God has destined us for, we ended up getting back together.
Nice.
And we got an apartment right across the street from Doug. It was like God put us there so I could stay close to Doug.
Yeah.
We ended up having another baby.
Nice.
Lucas. And it was
beast.
just, he's an animal.
Yeah.
And I was at the firehouse working a lot of overtime. Overtime was up. My wife stays home with the kids. So with just the regular salary, I wasn't able to afford to live.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't at top pay yet. So my rent was due, everything was due, and it was tough to survive. So I started working for a guy doing power washing, making like $100 and something a day. And my wife turned to me one day and goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Why don't you just start your own power washing company?" And I was like, I looked at her and she truly believed in me.
That's awesome.
So I went to Home Depot, I got a power washer, and I just started going door to door, you know? And during the summertime, I was making $800 to $1,000 a day.
Outside of your fire
Outside of the
job.
fire department.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, this could be
$1,000
something
a
big.
day. Wow.
So we were rocking. I was just by myself. Just me, carrying a power washer, busting my ass every single day.
Nice.
For the mission of supporting my family.
Amazing.
You know?
Amazing.
If I had to prove it to these people, you know, that that's not the person I was.
Yeah.
And I felt as though I did, you know?
You have, bro. You have.
Yeah.
Because I can't even imagine you being like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy the transformation that you've had in your life, bro. It's crazy. Me working with you, you know, seeing you have a beautiful house now, right?
Thank God.
Brand new house, thank God. You were freaking homeless out of rehab 5 years ago. Now you have 3 trucks on the road.
Well, that was only 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago.
Yeah,
now
I've been
you got
sober 3.5 years.
Look at that.
You know, in August, it's going to be 4 years.
wow.
Yeah.
So in 4 years, God took you out of poverty, elevated your business to be successful, right? You're doing well. 9 employees, 3 trucks. You're growing every day. You know what I mean? He gave you more children, right? Now you got 4.
Yeah, Abrielle was just born.
Yeah. Shout
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. God
I
bless
love you,
Abrielle.
sweetheart.
God bless Abrielle and
Yes,
Paulette
yes.
and your family, man. It's amazing, bro, what God has saved you from and elevated. So I'm a firm believer, bro. 100%. I'm a firm believer that you are chosen to be on a specific mission to help people get out of those foxholes and to be a saving grace. See, God is going to use you as an example, and he's going to use you as an example because a lot of people, brother, they don't believe because they don't see. And God is a God of free will. So what God does, I believe, and listen, this is to everybody that's watching. We got Muslims, we got Jewish people that watch, we got Christians, Catholics, Buddhists. I don't care what religion you are.
Yeah.
I respect all people, all races, all cultures. Whatever God you decide to worship, that's on you. It's fine. Doesn't mean my religion is greater than yours. Doesn't mean anything. I'm just telling you my experiences. I just want to put that out there. But God is going to use you as an example of what his will and what his redemption power can do. Because see, God, people want him to believe, him to be like magically appear and like, you know, just make some things happen and so people could believe.
Yeah.
But God is a God of free will. And I feel like if he did that, then people would be forced to believe. But he wants you to believe because of the works he's done in people's lives like you, where it's like, it has to be God. Like, you were on opioids 5 years ago. You went to rehab twice. You're now an entrepreneur with a beautiful home, a beautiful family. You're a firefighter. How crazy is that story? You know what I'm saying?
It's amazing just talking about it and hearing you speak about it because it's just insane. It's insane what God could do within 3.5 years.
Yes.
Right? Keeping him first, right? And just staying on course and staying consistent to the mission.
Yes.
And just knowing what you value in your life, and you just continue to work hard for it every day. It's limitless possibilities in your life, and anybody's life for that matter, whether it's you're dealing with something at work or you're dealing with any other addiction, obesity, whatever it may be, it's just amazing. It really
Absolutely, man. Is there anybody that really made a strong impact in your life?
Yeah, there is. My coach, Mike Claudio.
Shout to Mike Claudio.
Yeah, this guy, I stumbled upon him on YouTube.
Okay.
And I was just looking at, how to grow the business, how to, just different things in construction. And he ended up being a business coach. So I gave him a call one day, and he was like, yeah, I'm a business coach. I can help you get to the next level. He really, he was a Christian. He is a Christian. So we had that same, feel to each other. And I just said, you know what? I would love to work with you. How much is it going to be? And he gave me the number, $3,500 a month. That was more than my rent, my car payment, and everything else. Okay, for four coaching calls a month. And I was like, you know what? I've never really pretty much gave anything to myself. I never invested into Tom.
Poured into yourself.
Poured into myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm going all in. Yeah. And I did. And it paid off tenfold.
Wow.
This guy has not only helped me in business, but in my personal life.
And I see it, yeah.
To just, pretty much just have personal growth, to not have the bullshit mindset of being the victim, you know,
yes.
And how I can't really achieve things and having that stinking thinking mentality. That's all bullshit. People tell themselves this because society has told us that, what you have to do to be okay? You have to get a job. You have to go out and make sure you get a pension and health benefits. And you're going to be a very successful person. And I grew up in that culture. That was all I knew, was once I do that, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Right? And now I achieved it, and I don't feel okay. Because I now endeavored into being an entrepreneur and running a business, and I see the upside, what God has planned, and I still am trying to stick to what I believe as to be the plan, and it doesn't align. So now there's a whole bunch of, different stuff going on in my mind, which is, the battle that, I'm facing today.
Yeah. And we're going to get right into that. New York City firefighter, they mandated the whole city, all city workers. Tommy, effective tomorrow, 5 p.m., 1,700 hours. If you don't get the V, you're no longer a New York City firefighter. How does that sound to you? How does that make you feel?
It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy that this is even going on in the world today.
Yeah.
That I would have to make a decision whether I'm going to get a vaccine or not, just to continue to be employed. It's just, it blows my mind what's going on in our country, what's going on in the world today. And as much as it blows my mind, right, I sat down, I prayed on it, right? And I spoke to a few people about it. I spoke to one of my mentors about it. And he asked me this. He said, making the decision to get the V, does it align with the man you are? And my answer was absolutely not. It doesn't align with my decisions. It doesn't align with my values. And that's it. He goes, okay. So if it doesn't align with what you believe in, it doesn't align with your values, if you did get it, would you be able to live with yourself for the rest of your life? Because only you have to live with this decision.
Yeah.
Not
100%.
anybody else. It's just you. Yeah. And I was like, no, I won't be able to.
It's unbelievable.
So he goes, okay, so stop the scarcity mindset and continue to grow your business and just do your thing. You know,
Yeah.
I'm here for you. You're rising. You're continuing to grow, and stick to your values. Because when you stick to your values, God's going to continue to bless you. And I was like, you know what?
Amen.
You're 100% right.
And he does bless you, brother. You've been good. I believe that you're going to grow tremendously. I believe that your family is going to be great and in good hands, God's hands. God got them. God got you. You're the head of the household. Therefore, you're the leader. You know what I'm saying? And beautiful children, you know. So that decision by you standing on, I also believe that in the future, years later, when everything comes down the pike and, you know, you're doing wonderful because you made the right decision, you're going to be able to look at your kids in the face and say, Daddy stood for what he believed in. Daddy never folded. And you know, I stood firm on my convictions as a human being, what I morally stand for. And it'll be a true example to your kids of, you know, believing in yourself and believing in your morals and having integrity within your morals.
Yes.
To do what you want to do. So I applaud that decision, bro. I applaud that. I also empathize with all those public safety workers, all those city workers that are going to be unemployed and have no way to, don't have a business or don't have a residual income.
Yeah.
That they're going to be left out because they just simply didn't want to get a V. You know what I mean? So, you know, I pray for them. I pray that, you know, God provides for them and their families.
Yes.
And I pray for some type of relief for you and all the people that are going through this. I believe it'll come through, you know. What would you tell the Tommy Coogan from today? What would the Tommy Coogan sitting here right now tell the Tommy Coogan when he was 17 about to start drinking? What would he tell him today?
You know what? I would probably, I wouldn't tell him nothing. I would have him continuously do exactly what he did. Because if he didn't, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Wow,
that's a fantastic answer, bro. Because that's a real answer, bro. That's an amazing answer. No one I know has ever answered it like that. That's a real answer. I thank you for that. Who do you want to thank before we start closing out? Who do you want to thank, and what shout outs do you want to give to people that have made a major impact in your life?
I want to thank my wife, Paulette. She has pushed me to be the man I am today, and I love her to death. I love to love my wife.
Shout to Paulette. Shout to Paulette.
Yeah, she's amazing. Doug Ryan, the guy literally showed me a new way to live, and how I show up on a daily basis is largely due to him. And you, my brother.
Thank you, bro.
Listen, you are doing amazing things. You know, you're one of my best. You are my best friend, man.
Thank you,
and
bro.
I want everybody to know that. Seriously.
Thank you, man. That means a lot, brother.
Love
you too, man.
Everything that you're doing for Renewal Solutions, everything you're doing for the Bridges Project, I completely back and I support wholeheartedly, man. Because you got an amazing thing going on, and whatever I can do, I'm here for you, man.
Thank you, bro. Means a lot, brother. I love you too, man. Thank you, bro. And I know it comes from a real place, man. Yeah, you didn't have to shout me out, man. I appreciate that.
I had to, man.
I appreciate that, man. And I know it comes from a genuine place. I feel the same. Brother, listen, man, I pray that God continues to pour into you, bro. You are a pillar, man, of what somebody that's solid should be. You know, you exemplify integrity and character. We all have flaws. I'm not going to sit here and say you're perfect. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
We all are. We all have flaws, but you are a good human being. And I'm blessed to have you as a friend and a brother, bro, because you motivate me, bro. You know, you motivate me. I mean, I got a freaking clipboard in the back there that has Monday through Sunday, and I'm writing down because you got a huge one in your house where you write down your daily routine. You're very systematic in your approach, you know, your daily approach to life. You read more, you know, so you're very positive. So, bro, I just I just want to tell you, man, I pray that God continues to pour into you. I pray that you never fold. I pray that you continue to be the leader that you are, brother, and that God continues to use you, man. I thank you for being on the show, brother, for sharing your story. Everybody, please, 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 please go to Instagram, Renewal_Solutions on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Renewal Solutions Inc. If you want to email Tom and get in touch with him, you could reach him at renewalsolutionsinc@gmail.
Yes.
Can I put your business line out there?
Yeah, please.
You could reach him on his phone, 732-788-4737. That's the business line. All home improvement needs, specializes in basements, kitchens, bathrooms, but it'll also service any other needs you have for your home. Brother, I thank you for being on the show. You're going to see more of him. We're going to be doing some motivational podcasting. We're going to be working on ways to build people up, add value to people. So stay tuned for me and Tom teaming up and doing a lot of work together. Thank you for being on the show. Everybody, please go follow him. And once again, crush the day.
Crush the day, baby.
Crush the day, baby. Let's go. We're out.
Hey, yo, you are now locked in with the BOOKEM Show. Building bridges, baby.